All right, fellas. Welcome to Mint Mob Spaces on this beautiful Friday. I'll just wait for Jason 1 second. Um, Let me just take a look into the room and welcome all you guys. Daria, we got Jilly right now, the Atlas DAO handle, Matic Addict, Rob, STC just entered, Johnny, Julian, Maria, Florin is here, guest NFT user is here, Hard Money Heroes. We got my brother Broly in here. Great to have you guys around. Um, Jason, let me know if you are able to speak, maybe with an emoji. Yeah, it's been not the best week for the project, as most of you guys probably have seen on X or on the Discord channel. We have been victim of a scam that unfortunately drained the treasury and also compromised the wallets and bulk listed a lot of NFTs onto the marketplace. Um, yeah, not much we could do about it once it happened, and unfortunately, we have to probably remint everything. But before we move into all that, let me just say, oh, or maybe not. Jason is gone again, so let's wait another minute. I'm sure he'll be back. But as I said, I mean, that account unfortunately bulk listed a lot of NFTs from the Goodfellas collection. He's obviously still having access to the wallets and everything, and this means we will have to update things, remint the collection to get the authorities back. But let me first say hello to my man Jason. Jason, it almost feels bad to ask how are you, but still, let me know, what are your feelings, man?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. It's obviously a tough time. I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is. We'll feel all the feels, but at the end of the day, it just comes back to getting back to work. And that's my sole focus right now. So yeah, I mean, it was a pretty rough night when I noticed what was going on. And, ever since then, I guess it was 4 days ago now. It was Monday night, I think, that all this started going down. Ever since then, it's just been a constant battle of, seeing what I could recover, seeing what I could get back, seeing what I could, turn over. But at the end of the day, it basically, after the initial shock, it's just a huge wake up call as to like how important detail work is. And so for me personally, it's an expensive education is how I'm looking at it. And so for me, you know, we got, these guys did what they did and they got what they got. And, unfortunately, it was a huge hit to the project. It was a, massive hit to me personally. But I'm going to be all right. And at the end of the day, it's just stuff and stuff can be re-gotten. So right now I'll be in the process of re-getting stuff and, rebuilding our treasury, probably with even greater value propositions going forward, because now we can do so with new technology and much greater, like basically just a much greater focus on how this thing actually needs to have a foundation. And the foundational pieces, were some of the things that you and I, we kind of glossed over a little bit, but not really because, we took over a project that was in trouble and everything was like assholes and elbows. Let's get things going right now. Got to move, got to move, got to move. And, when you're moving fast and trying to do things quickly, it's really easy to just get ahead of, get out over your skis, so to speak. And in some ways, that's kind of what happened. But this is completely, you said up top, like we were the victims of. I mean, I'm not a victim. You're not a victim. I mean, at the end of the day, what happened was preventable, and I'm just responsible. And that's all I can say about it. Like, there's evil in the world, and part of my responsibility as a founder is to protect you and to protect the community and my family from it. And I failed on that front. So, I mean, that's just me being 100% honest about how I personally feel. It's just one of those things where, you know, obviously it's like, shit, man, who's going to invent that time machine, right? But, all we can do now is move forward, and that's all I'm focused on. So that's pretty much it. I mean, we can go into details to some degree, but for the most part, I don't want to make, I don't want to be one of those people that comes on here and whines and moans and cries about it. And, none of that's going to do anything positive. I'm sure as hell not going to post a photo of myself in a bathtub with fake blood asking for sympathy. I'm just not going to do those things. Like at the end of the day, I'm responsible. Um, Now I know what's required, and now it can never happen again. And aside from being an expensive education, it does open quite a few doors for us to do even bigger things going forward with a new platform, NFTs on Solana. So, at the end of the day, that's really what my focus is. It's like, what can we do now, not what happened then, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I know that whenever such stuff happens, the community is there and keeps asking questions like, how could that happen and stuff like that. I mean, in the end, in all honesty, like it was basically, in a nutshell, it was a scam link that has been clicked. We all get taught to be very cautious in this space, but with all the stuff going on, sometimes you have loads of work, and you're basically spending hours in front of the computer. You're distracted, and it's just one wrong click in the end that can cause so much trouble. Um, in the end, Jason said it. It is what it is. We have to move forward from here. Yeah, and from my perspective, I remember when we basically had that mint planned back then. Um, it was the special mint for the inauguration, the Trump drop that we had, and you just shoot me a message, and you was like, yeah, we'll probably have to postpone the mint. Wallets are compromised, and I was like, what the fuck? I checked the wallets, I saw the misery, and yeah, I mean, we can like probably spend hours about like how did that happen, how could have been prevented. I mean, I had told you in private already, it's absolutely not the time for any like accusations or something, because you obviously know how you could have prevented it. We'll do better in the future, definitely, and take care of that kind of stuff. And yeah, from here it's beginning again. I mean, we haven't lost everything because we still have the foundation that we built. We still got our collections. We still got the art. We still got our community. We got the mint page, the staking page. We got all that done. So it's not starting from the zero. It's just like trying to remanage ourselves now, getting everything in place, and yeah, we'll get there. And I think it's interesting because when you read all these posts on X, and you're like, people posting about, hey, I got drained, I got this, I got that, you always feel like, uh, it's not gonna happen to me. I'm cautious. I got my security like ready and stuff like that. But in the end, it can happen in a moment. You just need to be like, one moment of distraction can lead to such a thing. You said it pretty good in Discord. It's a lesson learned. It's obviously a paid lesson, but once it happened, it's probably, or most, or hopefully never gonna happen again. We'll move from here, and yeah, maybe you can touch a little bit on how we proceed with the collection now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing is, like, the way that we structured this project from the get go, it's all about ownership and making sure that we have control of the IP. And over the last couple days, I've been doing a lot of soul searching around like what a good business model looks like. I think this is it's not something that we talk about in this space very often because everybody's here to kind of learn and play. And there's a couple people who are actually building really real businesses, but most people are just kind of here testing the waters. And that's normal and natural when you're in the Wild West and the infancy of a thing. But the truth is, like, at the end of the day, if we are serious about building a foundation or building a project or building a business, we have to attach ourselves to an idea that is not only good, but profitable and sustainable over time. And so the thing that we've done here that is positive is with all of our artists and with all of our artwork, we have agreements so that we have exclusive access to the IP. So in this case where the IP was stolen, none of it can be used for anything outside of the project or outside of what we've licensed it for. And so anyone who's holding pieces, like your pieces are still yours. And the challenge is that the treasury wallets that held like NFTs or funds or what have you, or creator wallets that held, access to certain, like creative websites, like these wallets can no longer be used to create. And these wallets are tied to like all the old stuff, like from past history, all the old staking, all the old projects, all the old founders. Like in some way, there's ties to all these old services and people, right? And over the course of the last year, in creating these pieces and regenerating this artwork and putting out new creatives, like technology has moved, especially on Solana, so far forward, it's not even funny. And, when we're minting new pieces, the thing that we want to do is be able to leverage that. And we're not able to do that with the current NFTs anyway. So, on some level, we were going to have to replace these NFTs anyway. And so, in some ways, it's like, a reminder to, get off your ass and move and do it now, because really that's the best option. So, basically, what we're going to do is if you're holding NFTs, just hold them, just sit tight on them. And what we're going to do is remint in the new format, which on Solana is Metaplex's core technology. And so we're going to remint the NFTs as core NFTs, which opens up a ton of doors in terms of functionality, size, use cases, and code, really. And then what we'll do is you'll submit the NFTs that you hold to us, and we'll replace them with the core NFTs, and we'll move everything to the core NFTs, which is something we were going to have to do anyway. So this does a lot of things. This solves the IP problem. We can delist the old pieces, and it also gets us out of any old staking problems that we had with Floppy Labs, for example, who hasn't done anything to update their software over the last 3 or 4 years. So it solves some problems, although it has been at great expense, and it's created a few problems as well. But the truth is, it's going to actually help us be more solid and solidify our future that much more. And so, I mean, we could, when something like this happens, I mean, Alex knows a little bit about my personal life. I coach people in real life, and it's easy to sit on one side of the computer when something, traumatic happens and kind of give someone some guidance and go through it. And then when it happens to you, it's a true test of what your belief system and skill set is, right? So basically, the Monday night attack on the machine that basically compromised all these wallets was that for me. And so, I gave myself a day to cry and moan and, play victim. And then the next day it was time to get up and get after it. And so, nothing that's happened is going to kill the project. It's only going to make the project that much stronger. And we're just going to continue to build through it. And, we'll rebuild a treasury, we'll rebuild new relationships. I've already started reaching out to some people to form new coalitions. And, we're going to continue to build and do great things in the space, regardless of what happens. And, one of the things that allows us to do that is just having a solid foundation of ownership in what we've created. So now we get to bring that to new technology and just solidify it that much further. So hopefully that kind of helps. And for those of you guys who have questions about how, like how these things happen, as near as I can tell, this was a attack using a download link that basically granted access not to my wallets but to my computer. Okay, so as near as I can tell, someone was able to sort of remotely install like a almost like an RTP program that ran in the background. And based on the activity, I'm thinking that this is what happened because I don't normally keep anything secure on my machine. But just so happened that, while I was doing these updates and setting up this mint, I had my external drive connected to my computer. And so I think what happened is they got access to my machine and then went into that drive and got access to what would normally not be accessible. And so this is one of those things that's completely preventable. Again, it's on me, but the scam link situation is one of those things that I've seen, I've heard about, never been a victim of, because I'm pretty good about spotting them. But I will say this, like in the U.S., like if you're communicating, especially in the real world, we communicate face to face most of the time, and we use a tool called Zoom. And so when someone sends you a Zoom link, which is what this one was, the Zoom links then in and of themselves are sort of a scramble of letters around the word Zoom, and they all look different based on the person's ID. So this is the link that I clicked thinking that it was a legit link. So if you're having someone reach out to you and they want to set an appointment with you or what have you, just be sure to verify this link, because at the end of the day, those links are very difficult to detect between the fake ones and the real ones. It's not like on the like a fake website where they can change a letter or add an S at the end or something like that. Most Zoom links look very different. So that would just be my word of caution. And the path forward is clear. It's just a matter of getting new assets created and getting those out to you guys.
One question I actually have about that is, and I'm not sure if you have the answer, but if something like that happened to someone and he clicked on a Zoom link and it looks a little fishy and you feel like, oh man, this could have been a scam, and your computer could be compromised, would it help to immediately unplug your computer from the internet?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And I mean, anytime you can disconnect, when something like that happens, you're inaccessible at that point. So, I mean, in my particular case, I've been unable to find any software that will actually find a foreign file, which is really which is really difficult because you can't really troubleshoot it. Only thing I can tell you what happened is based on the attacker's behavior. Like based on the behavior, this is what happened, right? And it looks like in order for them to do that, they would have had to have had some sort of, RDP software secretly installed. So um, obviously disconnect. But, in my case, what I've done is basically reformatted my router, reformatting all my machines, all my computers. Everything that was connected is being reset, reformatted, and coming back to just a ground zero state of security. So yeah, absolutely, definitely disconnect.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I heard rumors that, wiping out your hard disk won't resolve that problem. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, to also touch on the other collections that we have, the information I got from you, I'm not sure if that's still um, valid or not, but the Siren Syndicate collection seems like it's not affected. And the Bitcoin ordinals, obviously, like they are immutable, so they are inscribed, they can't be burned, so they should be good as well. Is that still correct?
Yeah, I was able to reclaim control of the Stargaze collections, so that's all fine. The ordinals obviously are immutable, so nothing can really be done with them. And the collections that you create using ordinals, the metadata that assigns or groups the pieces together is not on chain. And so basically, it's just an account and a connection that you have with a particular platform. So I've already reached out to Gamma. When we start doing the soul stuff, I'll reach out to, or I'll log into the Magic Eden side of things, and just make sure that there's been no changes to any form of the metadata. The NFTs themselves can't be touched. They're like you said, they're immutable. And the way that the collections are created is using a third party JSON file. And that JSON file can be modified any way that you want to modify it, but it doesn't change anything about the pieces or the underlying state of the pieces. It just assigns which ordinals are part of the collection. So ordinals are no problem. The only issue with the Solana stuff is that the creator wallet was part of the attack. So I can't mint anything from the creator wallet because I don't want to give update authority to an attacker, obviously. And so certainly wouldn't want to add insult to injury by doing something like that. So all of those pieces will be added to a secured wallet. And you and I will obviously get together around what that's going to look like, but it's going to be, a pretty, pretty tight Fort Knox type situation going forward on that. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, just to summarize and maybe give some instructions to the community. So yeah, just hold on to your assets, obviously. What happened on chain is that this guy kept listing all these pieces for a couple dollars, and some guy took advantage of that and bought a bunch of these and listed them again. I know STC, for example, told me that she purchased a piece, I think. Um, yeah, so do not purchase anything from now. Just hold your assets, and I think the plan is once the core NFTs are created, there will be some sort of exchange. If I'm right, like that is probably the best possibility to do it, right?
Yeah, 100%. So like if you picked up a piece, you will own the piece in the new collection. So whatever you're holding, you're covered. Just hold on to it. Don't sell it or buy it because then you're just enriching an attacker because the royalties wallet, or the royalties will go to one of the wallets that they control. So, at the end of the day, everything that you purchased, whether you purchased it for, whether you got a screaming deal on it, it will still be yours in the new collection. Um, no holders aside from myself or the treasury wallet will be impacted at all. Your collections will be 100% intact and you're 100% insured. Not a problem at all. So you don't have to worry about that. And this is one of those things that's, kind of the beauty of the ownership here, because we can do these types of things and make sure that everyone gets taken care of. Um, the reason that I know that it was some sort of RDP is because they got access to multiple types of wallets, so like different chains, so like MetaMask, Xverse. It wasn't like a simple, oh, I saw your keys kind of a thing, right? And so like the Fame ladies that I bought, they got those. So if you're on ETH and you're buying like some laser-eyed Fame ladies, those are stolen. There's a bunch of different pieces that'll be listed that were stolen, and there's not a whole lot that can be done about them on most of the chains, but on the Solana chain, we can actually kill all of those pieces. So we'll actually do that. We'll kill all those pieces, and we'll create new pieces in the core format. And so you'll have all the same NFTs, all the same numbers, all the same assets. Nothing will change about your rarities, your metadata. Nothing will change. You'll literally get one for one what you have. It'll just be a new format of the NFT. So none of you guys need to worry about any of that kind of thing.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to touch on in general about these kind of scams is I know that Purple, I think she told us that that's actually the account that got compromised on X. And I think she told us that she even reported all that to the police, and she opened up a case. And I'm not sure, is there any possibility to regain X or to get the funds back? Like, it's probably like the amount of money is probably not like high enough. But yeah, in the end, are you doing something like that, like regarding contacting law enforcement or something?
Yeah, I mean, we've submitted a file or submitted a report to the FBI. And so at the end of the day, it's turned over to cybercrimes, which I think is ICCC. If you go search ICCC, you can submit reports to them. But again, like if we're dealing with attackers who are obviously well versed in what they're doing, probably sitting behind 14 different VPNs and routers, that show that they're in different countries around the world. Like the router that I tracked showed it was in Russia. So I don't know that if that's actually true or if it's just being bounced off that place. Who knows? But yeah, it has been reported to the FBI, the IC3, ICCC, however you say it. And, I'm not holding my breath for them to do anything, but it is on file. And if any of that stuff is recovered, then, they do have our contact information and they do have the transaction information, and they can, actually, if any recoveries happen, they can get in touch with us and we can continue to follow up with that. So yeah, that has taken place. But again, I wouldn't hold out hope too much for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's probably going to take a while until you get any respond at all. But yeah, let's see what happens with this. So you guys now keep holding the assets, and can we give any sort of time frame on when, or like I'm not sure of what kind of effort it takes to remint that collection. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. The remint is not going to be that big of a deal because I keep all of the minted assets in a file that is archived by drop. So I've got all of the pieces, all of the metadata, everything. So, I've got a record of that. And so it's just a matter of like getting to the end of all of the silliness here, getting everything reset up, getting the foundations in place, and then coming back in and re-releasing those pieces. So, I would just, I mean, I would just say give us like a month or so just to be on the safe side. It, probably won't take that long, but the truth is, I just want to be super careful and make sure that we've gotten everything like really tied down so this can never happen again. So we're going to spend some time doing some research on making everything bulletproof so that the treasury can never be hit again and we never have to go through this, silliness again. So just give us some time. We'll get it done. Again, everything that you own, you will continue to own. We'll dump all of the old assets once the new core NFTs are created, and none of you guys will be out anything. And I feel really good about saying that, even though it hurt really hard to get to the point to having to say that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally, man. I tried to do some research on core NFTs. They're not like I didn't really find a lot of information on these, but I know that you also wanted to reach out to our dev, talking about if they're actually if able to be staked and on our new staking side. What's like the difference in tech on core NFTs?
So the major difference in the core NFTs is it updates the account model. So in Solana, when you create an NFT using Metaplex, using the Metaplex tools like the Metaplex contracts, it basically creates several different locations for the NFT. Like you've got online storage for the image or for the file, and you've got another store value for the metadata. And then some of the metadata is on chain, some of the metadata isn't. And some of the metadata, if you look at all these collections, a lot of the metadata is repeated over and over and over again on every single NFT. So the biggest thing that the core NFT did was it separated out the account model from every single individual NFT to like a master file. And that allows you, A, to be more efficient with space on chain, speed, transaction costs. It actually lowers the expense to moving the NFTs around, to selling them, to trading them. And it also opens up some programmatic windows as well. So once we get everything, settled and in place, we'll, I'll set up a CLI on my local machine and I'll test Mint on the CLI just to make sure everything is functioning properly. And then once that's in place, we'll remit the collection and then get going from there, and we'll start the distribution process. So it's going to take a little while to get all that taken care of. I did speak to the original creator of our staking site. He said core NFTs shouldn't be a problem. We're going to just create a couple and test them just to be on just to be on the safe side. Because again, the software that was created only uses the hash. So as long as the hashes are there, it shouldn't be an issue. But we're gonna just double check that to be sure. Um, as far as everything else goes, it'll get us free from floppy labs. This is one of those things where I have been literally struggling to get these guys to move now for almost a year. Their software that holds the staked pieces, apparently what happened with them is their dev decided he wanted to be more focused on a different project, and he's been spending all of his time working on some sort of AI project, and that left the other partner basically high and dry. So the one partner is trying to get the other partner to move, and as far and for all I know, they're anonymous. Who knows if they even know each other, right? But the one guy's been really helpful, and unfortunately, he's unable to do anything. So we've had these pieces basically stuck that, really don't need to be for any reason. And so again, the move to the core or the remit in this particular case will actually give us the ability to eliminate the need to have to work with any of these third parties that are irresponsible, any of the former connections to the old pieces. All of that stuff goes away. And we basically get to draw a hard line in the sand and start fresh. And so, I mean, there's a gift in that as much as it hurts. That's the gift in what we're experiencing. And so long as we, put the proper protections in place and basically bulletproof this thing, we're going to be free to fly. And that's really, I mean, honestly, that's something I've been looking forward to for a long time because the solution to all of these problems was always to remint in core and do a distribution. This particular experience is just accelerating that timeline.
Yeah, man. Okay, got it. So yeah, it's definitely a relief to finally not be, dependent on floppy labs anymore. So if any of you guys have any questions regarding the scam that happened, or yeah, regarding the plans we have now moving forward, what to do, feel free to request the mic as always. We will have to move on from here. We will have to get back to our regular meetings and spaces and topics here. Um, if we jump now to, talking about the markets and everything, I'm pretty sure you got your head elsewhere. So I'm not sure if you followed any of the stuff that happened recently.
Yeah, let me just say this real quick because everyone here is, I mean, to some degree, I've interacted with almost all of you, if not all of you. And to some degree, I know everyone here on this call, feels for what happened, and everyone here on this call understands, what it's like to get hit hard in the space. Everyone here knows what it's like to get rugged and be done wrong and be fucked over and all the rest of it. Here's all I'm going to say about it, and then I'm not going to say anything else about it. Right? The more we speak about negative things, the more power we give them. All right. So I'm not going to get on here and continue to rant and rave about, you know, some mistake that was made or some evil attacker. I'm just going to be cognizant of the fact that it's preventable, and I'm going to take all the steps to make sure that it's preventable. And so I don't want anyone on here to, get in this negative, get into this negative headspace where you feel down and all this kind of thing. And, I see this on this space so much, like the market moves up and everybody's happy. The market moves down and everybody's sad. And I mean, the truth is the markets are going to move every single day, and that's of benefit to you. If you're in the standard traditional markets that move like half a percentage point every day, you have, no opportunity. So when the market goes up and down and fluctuates, you have opportunity. When shit like this happens, like if you wanna take a look at trauma and define what like a traumatic experience really is, trauma is just accelerated learning. That's all it is. So I'm not gonna sit here and, give more power to what happened or to the negative experience. And, I wouldn't want anyone else to do that either. So, let's take any and all questions that we've got to take. I'm happy to, talk about these topics, fully transparent. I'm taking 100% responsibility for what happened. It's on me. And, at the end of the day, I have to fix it. So I'm happy to talk to anyone and take any questions. But let's do that, and then let's get back to it. Let's get back to to what's positive, let's get back to creating, because that's what the world needs more of. So the floor is open. If anybody wants to request a mic and say anything at all or talk about something that's going on in your world, we could talk about markets, whatever. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually like I also did not want to try to give negativity a lot of spotlight here. I mean, I remember when you talked to me about all that and you told me about the wallets being compromised. I remember like my messages basically were like, okay, we'll find a way to figure it out, and now let's get back to work. And that's what you can do. You can you can definitely, yeah, like lose, like I don't know, be emotional about it and cry for days and weeks, but it's not going to bring back the money. It's not going to do anything good for you. So just getting back to work and move on is the solution here. Jilly, I think I know that you exchanged some messages with Jason as well. So yeah, do you have any take on all this?
Well, the first thing I wanted to say is, it's, of course, unknowing the stand-up person you are, you're taking responsibility, but you can't really take full responsibility for just, awful people in this world and awful circumstances. It's not all your fault. It's not okay for people to do that. And just because they can, it doesn't mean that it's your fault. So first, that's the first thing I want to say. The other thing I want to say is, and this is super important, and this is for everyone, but especially for you. And like, I know this being like, uh, someone who works with the occult and universal laws and all this, and I know this for a fact because it's universal law, and that is like, this is a huge hit. So you have hit um, the wrong side of the pendulum swing. And because of your attitude and the way you're approaching things, you can look forward to the exact opposite of what you're feeling right now if you keep your head down and just push forward. Like, I actually believe that this will launch the project and make it way better than it ever could have been, because that's how it works. It really does. It's not even just like a pep talk. That's actually how it works. That's why, for example, people that are high strung or whatever, like, they have a lot of emotions. They feel super high highs, but they also have to feel super low lows. It's just universal law. And so when you get hit this hard, as long as you don't let it crush you and move on like you guys are talking, it will be a better outcome than it would have been had this not happened. And so that's something to look forward to. And that's not just, again, just pep talk. That's the truth. That's the way energy and the universe works. I just wanted to say that. I know you know this, but really, when anyone is hit hard and you're down, if you just keep your chin up and keep moving, something better will come. And that's not just a thing I'm saying. It's really the truth. That's all I really wanted to say.
No, I appreciate that, and you're 100% right. Like it's funny, we talk a lot about this type of stuff, offline in business and in person-to-person relationships. Like there's there's a gift in tragedy or scarcity, one that's not available in abundance, and that is the gift of clarity. When you have everything going your way, which everything was, like I just gotten off the phone with, I think I was talking to Alex or something about like, making all this money on Trump coin, blah, blah, blah. Like, so I was like, like really flying high, had all these options available. And, at some point when you're in that space, it's okay, what do I need to focus on today? You have all these different options. It's like, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Do I want to do the other thing? And then when something like this happens, it crystallizes what's important. So the gift in this is just taking upon the moment to simply look at all the things that you were distracted by, all the things that had your attention. The distractions are the reason this happened in the first place. I was trying to do too many things at once, and see the gift in the fact that it's time to refocus and move ahead. And that's what I'm taking from that. Like the details matter, and clarity is what has moved every business I've ever been a part of forward. So when I spoke to Alex, he was it was funny because in this space, I'll be brutally honest with you guys. Like in this space, like I don't put a lot of faith in many people, and I don't really think you can, because you're not really dealing with people. You're dealing with pseudonymous people or pseudonymous identities. And so when you start talking about relationships and who's in and who's not, like it something like this can really test and stress that, right? And so when I was communicating with Alex, in that moment, he basically said, "Hey, we're going to get this thing back, and I'm all in, and let's go harder." I'm like, "Okay, all right, let's do that." Because I fully expected him to be like, "Oh man, this is it. It's over." like like most people in this space just quit. They just roll over. And when he said that, I was like, "Damn, all right, we got a good thing here. We're going to continue to move and move forward." And I mean, that meant a lot to me, bro.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, I've been talking to people about that as well, in my real life, and I couldn't even feel bad for myself because I felt so bad like for you. And it's like still when I talk to you and the energy is kind of gone and I still feel the pain in your voice. And this is like that kind of makes something with me, to be honest. And I mean, we have to run things back up and we will, and I'm totally confident about that. So we shouldn't worry too much about the past and go from here. I think Maria has a take on that as well. So Maria, how are you, man?
Hey guys, how are you? Happy Friday. No, absolutely agree with you and with everything you said, to be honest. I don't know, it's like, another way to say, yes, these guys are aligned with what I think and how I move forward in the space. Because obviously, what happened to you guys is one of the most, I don't know, like what creator fears the most, I will say. And it's totally normal because at the end of the day, we're human beings, right? Like we cannot be on 100 things at the time. And obviously something will happen. But I also agree with what Gilly said in the terms of when you're hit in life, let's say, and sadly I've been hit several times at this point, I'm always looking at things like this is happening for a reason, like I have to learn something from this, and the universe or whatever is telling me, okay, you have to go through this to learn whatever. And if you guys had to remint a certain point the collection, in a some way it's good that this happened because now you have to be pushed to do so, right? So I think like I 100% agree on this way of thinking and way of moving forward. Yes, you can spend 1-2 days crying, oh my God, why is everything happening at me? But at the end of the day, you have to move forward, right? You have to, okay, let's gonna hands down, let's gonna go and work harder. We're gonna learn from this and we're gonna just come back stronger. So kudos to you guys. Yeah, that is what I wanted to say.
Thanks so much. I couldn't agree with you more. It's exactly right. I know you've been through some stuff. We all have our shit, right? We've all been dealt, some interesting hands, shall we say. And we all start at different places. It's just a matter of what we do with what we're dealt. So I'm there with you. I mean, I'll get my mojo back as quickly as I can. Obviously, I still have to process a few things, but yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at it like it's. I mean, I think the definition of trauma is just like really applicable here, right? Like this is just one of those moments of extremely accelerated learning, and in a space that's moving really quickly. I think that's a gift.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I totally agree on that. And yeah, I mean, in the end, I strongly agree with Maria. We can come back stronger from this. We'll increase security, of course. And you know, the first thing I thought was if that happened like much later in the project, it would have gotten worse and worse and worse. So in the end, you always have to see like maybe even like I don't want to say the benefits of this, but as you said, there is always light on one side. We got rid of the problem we had with floppy labs. We lost some money, obviously. We paid so much for it, but in the end, we'll have to see how we move from now. And I think we set pretty good plans. We set pretty good plans for how we move forward. And yeah, I mean, maybe we should cut it here. And as you said, try to not give too much spotlight to all that negativity. We're always here for everyone. So if anyone has questions about what happened or what to do, we are here to answer them. Um, but yeah, as I said, I'm not sure if we should jump into the markets or other topics now or just cut it here. I know we usually go for an hour, but yeah, Jason, you want to say something?
Yeah, if no one has any more questions, let's just go ahead and draw a hard line in the sand and move on. So We can talk about markets. We can talk about what's happening next. If anybody has a positive story they want to share, words of encouragement, ideas. I'll just share one. Like, there's a few people that I've reached out to in the space. Jilly, Jake, Florin. Like, these are some of the people that I've spoken to personally about creating a larger, like a larger sort of coalition of creators. And this is one of the ideas that I think can really advance the space, especially from the artwork side of things, the IP side of things. I mean, the truth is that one of the things that Web3 is doing a fantastic job of is it's making it very clear that if you want to accumulate some form of wealth or some form of security in your life, you need to understand how IP and media work. And this is becoming more and more true in the traditional world as well. So, like, we're in the right space. We just can't get shaken out when shit happens. So, if anyone has thoughts on, like coming together around what the potential creative power of owning IP, of literally global leverage, of of artwork, of code, of working together to create something great. I mean, feel free to take the mic and share some ideas. Like, at the end of the day, this will be an expensive afterthought. And, outside of that, nothing else really matters because that moment is gone. We only have this one. So, let's just focus on what we can do and where we can go with it. So, back to the IP conversation, back to where the markets are going, back to ideas that you might have personally that you feel like are valuable to the space. I mean, let's take the conversation there and let's end on a positive note. So, if anyone wants to throw an idea out, we'll chop it up, or I can throw one out. So I'll open up the floor.
Well, I just want to say I'd like to hear, because we were talking about it a little bit and you touched on it in a voice message in our DMs. And so, well, why don't you start talking about your early ideas for this coalition? Because I'm super curious, and you know that obviously there's an attraction between us and we're going to build together. And so I'd like to start talking about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was kind of reserving it until I could, kind of flesh it out with a few people first. But basically, in the space, like, there's a couple different things that I see are severely lacking. One of which is the ability to like operate as a unit. I mean, as much as we like to talk about communities, everybody here is very, very tribal. It's like, are you part of my project? Are you part of this project? Are you part of that chain? Are you part of this chain? I mean, I think that's counterproductive, especially if you believe that, the quote unquote future is multi-chain. Like, it doesn't make any sense to be tribal. But obviously, people with common interests are going to flock together. So I think that what we should do is like under the idea of being like-minded creators, join forces around that. So like when you and I talk and we have a kinship, then what I feel is that we are both focused on the creative act and we're focused on putting beauty and goodness into the world. I spoke to Florin. We didn't get a chance to talk about this. We were talking about something completely different, like bridging between a couple completely dissimilar chains. But like in the way that I enjoy to explore and play with the technology to find, really, really excellent uses, I see him doing the same thing on his end, on the Stargaze side of things, right? Jake from MetaVixens, we had an appointment to speak this week, but we weren't able to connect. To talk to him about some of his promotional skills that he's been using with MetaVixens. And so, like, when we take like the upper echelon of people who are committed to creating, and we put them together in a group that's actually serious about doing some great things, then I think that that leverage can be spread across all the collections on all the chains, right? And that's kind of the underlying idea of coming together with people who are like-minded. Because again, if you believe that the internet is not going away, that Web3 is digital ownership, that AI is going to want to transact in crypto, not dollars, if you understand that IP and media are leverage, then there's no better space to build solid relationships with people who are serious about doing the same. So that's kind of the underlying idea. I know it's a bit vague. I haven't really fleshed it out. That's why I wanted to have some, one-on-one conversations with folks. But yeah, feel free to riff on that if it makes any sense.
No, it makes a total sense, and it really it blends into the ideologies of the Family Society and everything we've tried to build. I mean, essentially, we've had to use decentralization to get our project back from bad actors. But my dream for the Family Society, even Flaunt Friday today, we invite all projects and artists and creators to show off their art within a thread started by a Family Society member. And it's not to promote the Family Society, it's for everyone to show up and celebrate being in the space, owning these assets, showing off new artists, creators. I can't tell you the connections I've made, we've made via, just even, something like that. The thing, again, this is not, I'm not trying to like plug the Families or Family Society. It's just it's my dream is to have these decentralized organizations where no one is in control. Like I know like with your project and that's no it's totally fine. But I know you're trying to also build a community. But it's there's a real power in when you have a place where creators and all types of people that want to build in different ways can come together where no one controls everything and everyone is on equal footing. Like, again, I'm not trying to pump the Family Society, but the Family Society is built where if you own one of our assets, you have as big a voice as me, who has been here for 3 years and has a couple hundred assets. You have just as much power to create change and push the idea forward, which is decentralization, camaraderie, and building in the most important time in human history. So, like, I'm all about what you're talking about, and I know what you mean about the tribal thing, and because it was really relevant or apparent, especially in 2021. It was bad. I mean, we were all like that. Like, it was like, well, this is what we are, and if you're not that, pissed off. But now we see that that's just resistance. It's resistance, and it's you don't gain by resisting. It's the law of non-resistance, welcoming, helping, sharing, and growing together. And that's what this space is. And I love what you're saying, and I'm all in on it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, go ahead, Maria.
Well, first of all, I have to say, yes, you should be pumping Fam Ladies. And also, guys, if you're not familiar with the Friday Flaunt, it's so amazing. Like, for me, it's like an event happening every Friday where I go there, I share, pieces from other artists I love. And actually, this is an example of what I love and what I always wanted to see in the space, which is different creators coming together, right? And obviously, along this year, you realize that not everyone is on the same boat. Not everyone is willing to, help each other. But when you reach at a point in where with a specific person you can count it, why not to come together and help each other, right? I'm really curious. I'm 100% into what you want to build, Jason, and even more. Like we can go way more forward than just having a group in where we're gonna retweet each other posts. Like I think we have all of us different skill that we can put together into the table and help each other, because at the end of the day, like this space, like we can grow so much if we're helping together. We can reach different audiences that maybe we wouldn't be able without our connection. So why not to put our experience or of skill together and build something great? So I'm 100% into that. So waiting for you to give me more information. But I wanted to jump in here because, it's something that I always wanted to do here when I joined the NFT space at the beginning in this gold era of 2020, 2022, where you see all these artists, being legit and being actually honest in the ways on how they approach the space and so on. I think that we can definitely bring back that environment. vibes together. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you guys and just start fleshing out the idea, and then maybe we can do something, as a unit and start, sort of setting up some clearer ideas. But here's the thing that I just want to pose, and I'm going to turn it over to Matic Addict. Here's what happens in all these spaces, right? Like all industry throughout history is always disrupted by technology. It doesn't matter what the industry is. It doesn't matter if it's cereal or agriculture. It doesn't matter. It's all some form of technology that changes things. And the people who are paying attention and really plugged into how they can leverage it are the ones who win. And so what I would really like to focus on, Maria, since you brought it up, is not retweeting, everybody's posts, but bringing committed leaders together who actually want to influence people in a positive direction toward adoption of whether it's IP rights, whether it's artwork, or whether it's some form of utility. Because the truth is, there's a lot of great small builders and creators who have the potential to do many, many great things, but don't necessarily have the budget or the time. Or, there's only one of them, right? And there's 24 hours in a day. And so how do you get everything done? And so coming together with people who are committed to putting a plan together and sharing those plans about, hey, here's how we can do this, here's how we can execute that. Because I'll be real honest with you, like coming from the marketing world and the business world, like looking at the marketing in this space, it's just absolute shit. And no one does it well. It's just hype and hope it sticks. And that's not sustainable. So on some level, we've got to get smarter about how this thing happens, or else at the end of the day, technology will surpass all small builders, and all value will accrue to the biggest creators and the ones with the deepest pockets. So I think now is the time to address that before it gets too much further along. But I'll get off my soapbox, and we can toss that around. But before I do, I wanted to toss it over to Matt. What's up, bud?
Hey there. My name is Mark, by the way. I don't know when I created my stuff back in, 20 whatever, when Luna was still around. I was instructed by my normie friend not to use my real name and my new picture and all that stuff. And so, but my name is Mark, and I am originally an I say art collector, but I collect, Grateful Dead posters and art rock stuff. And a friend of mine got me interested in the art of that was on NFTs, and I got real interested in it. And I'm finally found. I feel like this right group of people in you guys that. Can help me figure out or help me, learn more about what's going on here, and you know, um, be able to start to bring some of my other friends that have been collecting art for a long time that really just don't understand the space and aren't willing to take the risk, um, to understand all this and get into the digital collecting and all that. I really do think that it's it's obviously what's the future, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of you guys. Appreciate it. So sorry about what happened, and you know um, hope we're here to see the rebuilding and the greatness that comes. So thanks.
Hey, Mark, man, appreciate that. Yeah, it's so nice to hear someone identify themselves and use an actual name. So I appreciate you, brother. Yes, Jason here, and on the Goodfellas handle, you got Alex, and it's always nice to make those connections, brother. So yeah, we'll definitely be all about that. And I know that you've been paying attention, so I'm sure you'll catch all that. But we do these spaces, every Friday at 6 p.m. UTC. And so we can continue to connect there, brother. And any of your friends that, feel a little intimidated or unsure, when we were doing the ordinal part of this project, I had a lot of one-on-one conversations. I'm happy to help you talk to them, or, whatever it takes to sort of put them at ease if they're interested. Yeah. So anyone else want to come up and grab the mic? Otherwise, we'll start closing her out here and get back at it. But yeah, I'll just open the floor if anyone has anything they want to say.
Well, I know I'm a broken record, but I just wanted to say Hi to Mark. I know him from a couple projects, including the Fame Ladies. But I just want to say you're so right about digital art and collectibles. It's the future. It's because it's awesome. It's awesome. And once you understand and feel digital ownership, you know what it feels like. And it's an incredible feeling. It's why once, I know that degenning in coins and running around and chasing money, it's, everyone likes to make fast money. Okay. But when I really felt connected to crypto was digital ownership of art. That's when I just my shoulders just relaxed and I stopped caring about the charts. That's actually what happened. As soon as I got into NFTs, that's when I started having fun in Web3. And I don't like, I don't really care about the price of, any of my assets. Like even, I think every project that we were in 2021, dropped at least 90%. I could care less. Because I know what's coming, and I've seen this all before. I've seen the patterns, and I trust myself, and I know what's coming. Anyways, I just wanted to say, I just wanted to welcome you here, and if I can help with any of your friends or whatever, I can pretty much convince anyone what the future is because I know what it is and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's really cool that we have people here who are willing to, actually make real connections, identify themselves, and demonstrate that they're responsible and what they want to do is great things, and they're going to attach their name to that. So, you're welcome here, brother. And anytime you want to come up, feel free to grab the mic, and anyone that you want to bring in, they're welcome as well, my friend. Alex, you got anything to add to this conversation, my friend?
Yeah, first of all, I obviously want to say hi to Mark as well. I think I saw the videos that you posted unpackaging your canvases. I think it was Meta Vixens NFTs. Love that. Definitely on my bucket list to do something like that as well. I saw that you also made a comment under this Spaces post asking if we own IP rights for our digital collectibles. And yes, we do. That's actually a thing we wanted to make sure from the very beginning. We made sure that we had contracts with artists, ensuring that we get the IP rights to every piece we have. So whenever you mint anything from the Goodfellas ecosystem, you are sure that you're granted IP rights as well. So this is for sure. And yeah, I think this should be it for today. So if anyone has questions left, you can ask now. We are here for you, obviously, in the Discord as well. But if not, I would wrap it up here and say thank you to everyone, especially everyone who grabbed the mic, shared his thoughts. And if, like I said, if there are any open questions regarding the scam, just feel free to write us a DM or reach out on Discord. We are here for you guys. Yeah, this is it. We'll move forward from here. It was great
Wait,
having
are
you
you guys
guys.
doing the
Yeah.
Stargaze space next? Are you doing the other space that you usually do on Fridays? The Stargaze one?
Yeah, Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll probably jump in there. I was guest hosting with Maria last week. I think
Oh,
normally,
okay. Got it.
Daniel does it, but yeah, I'll definitely be over there. I'll catch you over there.
Oh, cool. All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man.
See you guys next
Absolutely.
week.
Take care, brother. You too.
All right, guys. So let's wrap it up here. Like I said, thank you for everyone showing up today. It's been a pretty rough week for us, but as we've said, we move on from here. We hope you guys have a great, great weekend, and we obviously hope to see you guys next week again. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Bye bye.